Because we on that same topic. Listen to this brother here.
Caucasian people, I got a legit question, right? So you can only live 2 or 3 days without water, right? So if it took 3 to 4 months to get to Africa and back, 3-4 months to get there, 3-4 months to get back, right? Where was all the water and the food was, right? Where was the water and the food? Not only that, right? But ask yourself this. This is a civilized question, man.
Now, he's right, but in the beginning, he said that we couldn't live off for 2 to 3 days unless he was being sarcastic and saying that that's what they're saying, because we could definitely live without water for 2 to 3 days. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. But if he was just being sarcastic and saying that's what they were saying, then all right, cool.
This is something that gotta be asked. Today in 2025, we have to ask this. Why would y'all get to a land, see some people, right? They show you corn, cotton, probably all type of different herbs, so-called turkey, like you said, you had Thanksgiving, all this mess, right? Why not just put them in slavery? If they know how to grow the food, they know how to till the land.
Right, that very good question. The quality of your life is based on the quality of the questions you ask. That's a very good question.
They know how to grow the cotton, pick the cotton. Why not put them in slavery? If you already gonna give them all type of diseases, murder them off, end up going to war with them, why not put them in slavery?
It would make it easy on you.
All your time, all your resources to go on a 3-4 month trip to Africa and 3-4 months back.
Right. To bring a whole group, another set, right?
When it was people already on
here.
The land.
Thank you. Hold on, stop. That's A. Shout out to this brother. That's the type of questioning I love our people are doing right now. I love it. I love that. That's the type of questioning I'm talking about. Our people are doing that. See, this is action, y'all. This is action, and I'm not going to get tired of showcasing our people showing up and asking these type of questions, because I've been doing this for 10 years. And I'm glad that I'm finally seeing progress in my own people that I can actually be proud of and play and just sit back and be like, thank God, thank the creator. This is something we needed, because this is about to change everything for the better for our people. It's going to be in our people's favor. I can't wait.
That could till the land. They knew about the crops. They knew about poison ivy. They knew what you can eat. They knew what you couldn't eat. They knew all the herbs. They knew all the animals. It was their land.
Right, absolutely.
Why not use them? They was already growing the crops and the food. They already had everything. Why not just act like y'all was cool with them, snatch them up, put them in slavery? But y'all want us to believe that y'all look past these people and went and got a whole nother people and put them in slavery, but you still somehow murdered most of these people off?
It's impossible.
No, man, this gig is up. Y'all got to stop this, bro.
It's impossible.
Y'all got to stop this. And then not only that, man, I do a lot of reading, bro. I do a lot of reading. I ain't gonna even go really too much go there with y'all. This one of my greats right here. You see that? Before the Mayflower. Negroes in America before the Mayflower. This is what I say, man. They never wanted us to read, bro. They never wanted us to read. Okay? I got another one. The Black West. Y'all need to read, man. Y'all, if you ain't picking up a book right now today, the stuff that these people are saying makes no type of sense. Look at me. Do I look like an African to you? I can literally tell an African from anybody. I get in the cab and be like, boy, African.
Right.
Same way we can tell a Somalian.
Right.
Same way we can tell an Ethiopian by how big and round their head is. Bro, listen. If y'all for once thinking, all right? Thinking now that we are Africans, I'm gonna need you to think again, boy.
Shout out to this brother. I don't know the brother's name. If y'all know his name, drop it in the chat for me. I'll give him a shout out, but shout out to this brother, man. He was absolutely right and exact. Absolutely right and exact. Yeah, the book was called Before the Mayflower. Yeah, it's a good book. And you know what the Mayflower is, right? Keep in mind, that is not the only boat, though, that they came on. I just want that to be known. That is not the only boat that was utilized by the foreigners. Keep in mind, they also had steamboats. Okay, here's another thing about the transatlantic slave trade that you know they were lying about, because this is the truth. they didn't have boats with motors before they had the steamboats. And if you look at when the steamboats were utilized, this is going to debunk the majority of the transatlantic slave trade as to the way you were told that it happened. Okay, remember I told you that it happened in reverse, meaning that it happened in the opposite direction. We went to Africa, okay, to Africa. And I told you when, because that was the only time period where it makes sense for those groups can go, okay, to a landmass like that and won't be harassed and, you know, able to possibly reside there. Okay, and it's gonna cost money. It's gonna take things. You gotta survive across them seas now. Like he said, 3 to 4 months there, 3 to 4 months back. That is not a simple task when you're on the water, and people need to understand that. That is not something to play with. We talking about a major journey coming from America to Africa. That's not straight across. Like I told you, they have the ocean gyres there. There's no such thing as going straight across. You have to go around, and you have to make sure that you don't run into a water reef, because if you do, that's the end of your sailboat, because that's what you had. You did not have a boat with a motor until after the steamboats. And I want, look, did anybody come back and say the year when the steamboats was being used? Because I want you to see how late in the 1800s the steamboats came about, and then the boats with motors came later. That's how you know it wasn't no big 12.5 million enslaved Africans coming from Africa being imported over here. No, impossible. There wasn't that many of y'all coming over here. Y'all didn't start coming over here in large mass until the late 1800s, until it was possible. We started seeing the majority of y'all in the 1840s and the 1850s. And then y'all started coming, y'all had great migrational periods. There's 3 of them. And y'all tried to move our people around. Tried to force us west, right? Lands west of the Mississippi River before the Indian Removal Act. And the majority of our people stayed, even after the Indian Removal Act. You ain't move all the East Woodland Indians. You couldn't. You didn't have enough bands to take care of these clubs. You ain't have enough aces to take care of them spades. You didn't have enough people. Your population was small. You couldn't even win the wars on your own. You had to take other Indians, see? You had to take other Indians to help you. You couldn't do shit without the Indians on both sides of the war. No matter which war you pick, we were always involved. And I mean our people. Now, no foreign group. I'm talking about when y'all hear me state that, I'm talking about our people, the Niji, the indigenous people of this landmass, Niji Kawin. But keep in mind, I'm saying that from a masculine standpoint, but I'm meaning that in a general standpoint. Some of y'all know that is the masculine word to say it. Of course, I'm gonna do that. That's showing more proper respect when I'm utilizing that terminology. We talking Algonquin language here, the mother language. That some of y'all fail to realize, and y'all claim y'all indigenous, and you ain't putting respect on the Algonquin language. Everybody talking about, oh, okay, we need to learn this and that and this and that. Where you think it came from? They know what's up. That's major. And see, them foreigners don't know nothing about that. Yeah, we speaking of former Algonquin right now. You got Algonquin to thank for the English language. That's right. All the way down to your Chata, macro Algonquin, not a game. I remember one video, I had to put some Choctaw native in his place. He gonna try to tell me that Choctaw not Algonquin. I said, see, this how I know you ain't do your research. You talking to me. And then I had to school him. Keep in mind, if you want to call me out on something and you think you correct me, you gotta be prepared, because I'm gonna correct you. I'm not gonna put anything out that I don't know nothing about. This is not for show. This is not show and tell. Just because it ain't popping up in your GPT or chat GPT algorithm, don't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't need the algorithm to tell me if I'm right or wrong. I am the algorithm. I am the source. I do my research for me and share my research with you. It got us to this point. I'm gonna tell you that right now. This was not a game for me. I did not come in here playing no goddamn games. I told everybody the truth. And my word stands. You could go back on my videos. I ain't changed nothing. Nothing. They know I'm not playing. And I'm glad that this is happening for our people, because our people are waking up. Man, y'all just don't understand how powerful this is. Some of y'all do, but y'all gotta understand how powerful this is. We are scaring these people, bruh. We are scaring these people. These people are scared, y'all. OCO Love Jones, how you? Osikachu. Matter of fact, let me play, let me segue into this video real quick.
Europeans need to go home. Enough.
Stop. Stop. Hold up. Listen. The internet is turning up in 2025 in a lot of good ways.
Europeans need to go home.
Listen to how it's starting. Woo! All right, hold on. Here we go.
Europeans need to go home. Enough of the 500-year masquerade, where a group of frostbitten cave dwellers crawled out of their wet, sunless continent, trespassed on every shore, planted their pale flag like a mildew stain, and decided that the rest of the planet was theirs to rearrange. Enough of this endless, ghoulish house party, where the drunkest, loudest, most ill-mannered guest refuses to leave after the music has stopped, after the food is gone, after the hosts have went to bed, after the sun has come up. You are standing in the living room of civilizations you didn't build.
Woo! Hey.
Set it on fire! Fire!
Oh, man. This is hilarious, bruh.
After the food is gone, after the hosts have went to bed, after the sun has come up, you are standing in the living room of civilizations you didn't build, clutching a plastic cup of stolen sugar, and the carpet you keep grinding your boots into remembers every muddy footprint, every cobblestone, every brick, every river, every tree, and every blade of grass in these lands is whispering the same thing. It's time to go home. Go home to your damp, gray peninsula of permanent misery. Go home to your crooked castles and your centuries of war with yourselves. Go home to your unfinished history, the one you fled because you couldn't fix it, so you decided to vandalize everyone else's instead. Go home to your famines.
Set it on fire! Fire!
Hold up, man.
Fire!
Woo!
To your inbred monarchs, your cold kitchens, your crumbling churches with rats in the steeple. Go home and sit with the fact that the entire planet now knows exactly who you are, because what you did was not exploration. It was not discovery. It was not civilization. It was looting with bad table manners. It was a global dine and dash. It was walking into the homes of people older, wiser, and infinitely kinder than you, breaking their furniture, stealing their food, and then pretending you were the one who invented eating. And here's the truth that burns. You do not belong anywhere else but the wet little rock you crawled from. You don't belong under this sun. These lands reject you like a body rejecting a transplant. Your skin peels in the light. Your bones rot in the heat. Your soul dries out and cracks because everything you touch.
This nigga wrote a poem. Are you kidding me?
Knows you're a foreigner. You are out of place here.
What? Hold on.
Your bones rot in the heat. Your soul dries out and cracks because everything you touch knows you're a foreigner. You are out of place here, and the planet is tired of hosting you. The age...
Jesus Christ. Hey, maybe I should have saved this for the end. What the fuck?
of squatting is over.
Ooh, he even went to the squatting. Don't forget that they were the tenants. I told y'all, they were the ones that were squatting. They were the
Everything
tenants.
you touch
they had to pay a
knows
fee.
You're a foreigner. You are out of place here, and the planet is tired of hosting you. The age of squatting is over. 5 centuries of trespassing, of plundering, of whispering
And
that you were necessary. You weren't. And the illusion that you could stay forever is breaking. Go home before the river runs backwards to spit you out. Go home because the eviction notice isn't coming with paper and ink this time. It's coming in silence, in hunger, in storms, in the collapse of every fragile little system you built.
Hold up, bruh. Listen. Bruh, you can't tell me he ain't write this down, number one. Number two, this is like, I'm talking about for real, this is absolute fire. This is absolute
It's coming
fire.
in silence, in hunger, in storms, in the collapse of every fragile little system you built to protect yourselves from the truth. Go home, Europeans. The world has cleaned the table, turned off the lights, locked the doors, and the only thing left for you to do is walk out into the cold night that made you and back to the caves that are calling your name. Cope.
Cope. Shit, he dropped the mic. Hey, you know what though? You know, it's good to see that there's other people out here that's waking up too, that share, you know, a different skin complexion. And I was trying to tell people that this was inevitable. I kept saying it, it's coming. Regardless. The war is already happening. It's a spiritual war. But he's right though, it's not gonna be in ink and pen. The eviction notice is going to be the action in play. You're gonna see it look like a movie that you're watching, but yet you're in your reality seeing what's about to happen. I'm not gonna, and it came fast too. I agree, Louise, I agree. The reason why, and that's very good that you say that, the reason why is because it's inevitable. One, it was faster than I anticipated, okay? I thought I was gonna be, a little older than this, but no, no. I'm gonna be real. I thought it was, I didn't know it was gonna be happening this fast, but we got a full supermoon out here tonight. And I want to state this out there right now. We're supposed to be stating positive affirmations. I want all of this to become our realities from now on into our future futures and future futures. I don't want this to ever have a pausing moment in history. I want it to be eternal. I want to see our people succeed. I want to see our people achieve. I want to see our people lead. I want to see our people grow. I want to see our people be. I want to see our people be at the top as the chiefs and chiefess again and own these cities, run these towns, okay? Command these counties and progress these countries and freedom for our people and all people that we feel are equal, Keep in mind, they are visitors. That's why we're not a resident. A resident is a person in transient status. That means that you're there temporarily. You're not there permanently. You are not a resident. A resident is the same thing as a citizen. A citizen is there temporarily because you're going to move where the government goes. The government failed in Ukraine. It's up for grabs, y'all. The president ran. He's not there. Let's tell the truth. The president is not there in Ukraine. And those people in Russia, they're telling each other that they need to go out there and loot everything that they can because there's nothing else there. And that's why Putin circled it and said he wants it. And he's going to get it. Yeah, they're freeloading. Yes, that's what's happening right now. And that's why I don't know if you guys noticed, you're seeing a lot more Ukrainians and Russians coming here now. I'm seeing a lot more now. Me personally, I'm seeing a lot more now. They're coming now. We can't bring them straight. I agree. No, I'm not saying, okay, I don't know. I hope that wasn't misinterpreted like we need to be helping them. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what's happening in Ukraine. See? But this is all the more reason why I'm explaining how we need to be in control of our own destiny. We should not allow or continue to allow strangers to dictate that point. And we have been for so long. Notice how he said 500 years. Whatever number you want to put, however long you think it is. White supremacy came in the 1890s, all right? Now, when we want to go back as far as when the intruders came here, when the foreigners came here, that's something different. But if we want to go 1890, that's when white supremacy started. 1890s. So that was only 135 years. So it wasn't 500 technically. Yeah, Ellis Island, 1892. Yeah, so 1890s is when white supremacy started. And that's when, you know, from 2025, that's 135. So that's what I'm referring to. And that's what that's where all the problems began. So to claim that they have 500, nah. I mean, because keep in mind, they needed our help. And this is a landmass that they're not familiar with. And the people that were coming here, we already know were their imprisoned people. Like it could have been imprisoned slave or whatever you want to call it. I know some of y'all are going to say indentured servant, but it was a lot of orphans. It was a lot of prostitutes. It was a lot of, separated families. Like if it was a divorced wife, divorced husband, but mainly, divorced wife, they were, imprisoned for certain particular reasons. This is called the Bloody Code in the UK. As an example, like if you guys know Fiddler on the Roof and the stories like that, where they were talking about the orphans that were happening in the UK and they were being brought over here by means of transportation. Transportation was the sentencing, meaning that you were banned from your motherland. And this is the reason why they tried to lie to you and say that Africa was your motherland when it wasn't. It never was. You were already on your motherland, okay? They were referring to where most of them came from and how they got here, how they traveled here. They were trying to get your mind off of America so they could have it all for themselves. Right. Now, Michelle, I'm not sure, but I do see that it's a lot of them who are criminals that are still coming. And I'm not trying to speak no names, or what I know, but I know the ones that they're still allowing to come over here are criminals. They have a criminal background and they're running from that. From Russia and Ukraine. They did something wrong, okay? They can't go back, okay? That's why when they come over here, they're seeking asylum. Keep in mind, this is happening still, you guys. This is not a game. Just because you're not looking at it doesn't mean that it's not happening, okay? And I know that because they don't hesitate to tell you if you ask. All you have to do is ask the right questions. They will tell you. If the next Russian you run into, ask them, hey, would you go back to Russia? And if they say no, guaranteed they are a criminal. But let them talk, they're gonna tell you. But that's historically with a lot of the foreigners. They're coming over here, technically pardoning, right? But when they seek an asylum, like, what's that boy's name that went against the FBI and he ran to Russia seeking asylum? White boy with glasses. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And he leaked, not FBI, it's the CIA stuff. He leaked all that stuff about the fact that they were tapping into our phones and tapping into our phone conversations. Snowden. Snowden. Y'all saying Snowden too. Hold up, what was his first name? Edwin? But that guy, Edward or something like that. That guy. He went and got asylum also, but he went in Russia, if I'm not mistaken. And got asylum. But see how he did something criminal and was able to start over in a different country? The reason why I brought that up is because that's what the majority of them are doing when they come over here. And this is historical, ladies and gentlemen. This has been going on for years. And I mean all the way back to the 1800s. Shit, even the 1600s. Okay, but that's why I was, if you go back on my documentaries, this is the reason why I brought up their history. So a lot of people were turning their nose up when I started telling y'all who the real slaves were, because a lot of y'all wanted to latch onto that narrative as if we were the only slaves or our people were the only prisoners of war. And that's not true. When I kept telling you, keep in mind, they were running from enslavement. And the reason why, or how you would know, as like with a lead that you can lead with to get you to that more information that you would need, I suggest that you go back on my channel and you can learn more, is the census calling them free whites. If they were free, why would it need to be written down as if they were not free before? If they were free, why would the word free be used? Keep in mind, look, that goes with the same thing with the term freedman. And I told everybody then, hey, don't latch onto that term freedman thinking that we need to be called freedmen. And y'all believing that has something to do with slavery, freed from enslavement, and it does not. The term freedman was from the Catholic Christianity, religious belief. That's Christianity saying that you're freedman. You're freeborn. That's what they're referring to. You're now reborn as a new Christian. You're a freedman. White people were called freedmen. I told you that. Look, and see, but you see how they trying to force our people to be coming up in these tribes as freedmen? Look at the labels, forcing them to use that. When they the real deal, they didn't have freedmen in the front. If they was freedmen, what was the point of writing free down? And I'm referring to the whites at this point. If they were free whites, why does that need to be labeled on the census? And I showed you the census. I showed you the census records from 1790 all the way up. I showed you documentation. I showed you what they were doing. I even showed you the records of what the enumerators were, their instructions, the enumerators' instructions directly from the government to let you know what they had to do. This is not a game. These people use these terms against our people so we won't know the real story. But all of us are the same. I'm talking about indigenous to this landmass though. I'm referring to this landmass. The so-called black people, the so-called African-American people, the so-called freedmen. The majority of y'all are indigenous to this landmass. The majority.